Hi there, I'm Jen Cassetta, your Chief Badassery Officer. If you're feeling drained, hesitant, stuck in self-doubt, or you just have a case of the vlogs, the Art of Badassery podcast is here to help you unleash your mojo once and for all. We'll provide you with tips, techniques, and real-life examples of how you can kick ass in all areas of your life. You'll learn how to flex your mental muscles, rise above fears, and turn setbacks into superpowers. So let's enter the dojo and let's get to work. Hello and welcome to the Art of Badassery podcast. I'm Jen Cassetta, your Chief Badassery Officer. Hi everyone, it's just you and I today for another solo episode, the first in this season. And what a season it's been. Can I just remind you that this year, at least here in Los Angeles, started out with wildfires that completely took away 2 different neighborhoods here in Los Angeles. And then just an onslaught of news, story after breaking story. And it has been overwhelming, to say the least. So today's podcast is all about how to protect your peace when the world feels like it's on fire. Now, some of you listening out there might think, what are you talking about? The world's not on fire. It's greater than ever. I'm so happy for you. Good. I'm glad you feel that way. And maybe you'll need this at another time in your life. But for those of you that are listening, that you really feel so overwhelmed and so stressed out lately, this is your reminder that you have more control over your emotions and how you feel on a daily basis than you may remember or believe. So today, my job is to remind you of that power, because peace is our most valuable asset, friends. Without peace, how can we focus on our work? How can we focus on our relationships, our family? How can we focus on ourselves and our goals and all the wonderful things that we want to create in this lifetime? We need peace, because the opposite of peace is living in fear. And when we live in fear, our brains are constantly hijacked in that fight, flight, or freeze response, where we're either trying to run away or we're trying to fight back, and we get very triggered and we wind up fighting with people, places, and things on a constant basis. That doesn't leave you feeling peaceful. Or we're just completely frozen. And I think that's where a lot of us have probably been feeling lately, is this state of paralyzation, completely overwhelmed, that I cannot focus on the things I need to do in order to fill my cup. Because you need to fill your cup up first before you pour it into others. Now, this kind of is a nice segue into my first step at protecting your peace, which is about media consumption. Because the media are black belts in this. They are masters at creating a narrative to keep us in a state of overwhelm and stress. And I'm sure that there are plenty of journalists out there that's not even their intention. They want to keep us informed of what's going on. I'm saying zooming out at a macro level, I think that is the intention, to completely overwhelm people, get people hooked on their stories and the doom and the gloom and the downward spiral. So we keep watching, right? And when we keep watching, the ads keep rolling and they keep getting paid. So that's one way to remind yourself to limit our media consumption. We have to do that. We have to be really careful about where we invest our energy, because where we put our focus and our energy, our attention goes there automatically. And just a side note, it has taken me 2 weeks to actually record this podcast, because I have tried multiple times to record this podcast. And I have to be honest, I would start talking and share all these tips, and it just felt very out of alignment. Why? Because I wasn't actually doing it. So I had to truly tailor my social media consumption in order to be able to talk about it in a way that feels authentic. Because here's the deal. If you know me, you know I don't do fluff. I do my best to practice what I preach, and what is what you get. Finally, about a week ago, I took Instagram off of my phone. I still need it for work. I needed to share this podcast. I needed to share different things that I'm working on. And I enjoy connecting with you all and hearing your thoughts and seeing what you're up to too. And my feed is also filled with news and doom and gloom. I have successfully taken that off the phone, and I swear the first 2 or 3 days, I felt such a shift in my energy and in my productivity. I got to work right away. I was supposed to be working on my keynote, leveling it up for this new year for 3 speaking events that I have in March. I'm so excited about. I got to work. One day I worked on it for 7 hours almost straight. And I usually wouldn't have been able to do that. And for sure, the last month or two, I have not been able to do that. I put it back on my phone over the weekend, but I still didn't have that urge. It was almost like I cut the cord, the energetic cord, was able to come back to it. And then Monday again, it goes off my phone. I will be on my laptop to post things, etc., for work and to connect with you, but it is not going to consume me. It is not going to drain my energy, because I have control over that and you have control of that. You have control over who you give your energy to. So remember that your energy is everything. It's our most valued commodity. And if you think about it, I think like energy coins, where are you investing your coins, your energetic coins into? Because that will determine your return on investment, your ROI. I would rather take those coins, and this is my suggestion to you as well, to go out for a walk, to invest in my partner, to invest in my health and well-being. And the same can go for you as well. So what else can you do to set boundaries around your media consumption? Turn off all the alerts. I also turned off my Apple News alerts. I didn't even realize you could do that. Go into your settings, turn off alerts for that if you have not already, and give your feed a detox. I've said this before. I think I even write about it in Blue Belt chapter in the book, The Art of Badassery. But just unfollow accounts that leave you feeling stressed, angry, or hopeless. Hopeless is the lowest energy emotion out there, right? When you're hopeless, that's it. There's nothing to look forward to. So we can't go there. And again, the media does a great job to do that. Which leads me into the second tip, which is stop catastrophizing everything. But you got to be able to bring yourself back from the brink when you feel like it is hopeless, when a situation feels hopeless to you. It's very easy to spiral into worst case scenarios, and I am more than guilty of doing that a lot of times. The world is ending. I think about that a lot of times with the environment, with global warming, you name it, but I just have to check myself. And you could do that too. Is this thought that I'm having based on fact, or is it fear-based? One question to ask yourself. And then, even if it is fact, if you're looking at the facts out there and actually doing a little research on and fact checking the things that you are believing, then you could just say, okay, what is in my control right now? If I can't fill in the blank, I'm just saying, stop global warming myself, what can I do to contribute to making the earth a better place to live? Okay, all of a sudden, when I start to ask questions like that, I feel like I have a little bit of my power back, right? Actually, a lot of my power back, because what can I do? I can't solve the world's problems, but here's something I can do. Completely stop drinking bottled water from plastic bottles. Buy these, instead of buying paper towels, I bought these reusable cloths to use. I just bought recycled toilet paper. Okay, certain things that I can say, this is where I want to invest my energy. Guess what else is energy? Money. Money is energy. It's all energy. So where do I want to invest my energy? I don't necessarily want to invest it in products that are going to hurt the earth. Stop catastrophizing all the time. Is ask yourself, how can I bring myself back to the present moment right now? Ways to bring yourself back into the present are in my book at red belt level when we talk about mindfulness. And mindfulness is really about widening the gap between a stimulus and your reaction to it. A stimulus being a piece of news that triggers you, right? That triggers like, oh my God, the worst case scenario, the world is ending, everyone's going to be laid off, everyone's jobs are gone, all of these things. Again, I've been guilty of that. But how can I bring myself back to the present moment? Mindfulness, and many ways where you can practice mindfulness literally can be spread out through your entire day, and or you can have a morning practice. You can go back to my podcast episode that talks about the 3 Ps of building a powerful morning practice, if that's something you want to work on. Otherwise, just take a big deep breath. How can I bring myself back to the present moment? How can I widen that gap between a stimulus and a response? Because when you do that, then you have more power of how you want to react to the stimulus. Make sense? Grounding techniques are very powerful. We talked about this on the biohacking episode with Lindsay O'Neill. She talked about just going outside in the grass, if you can, barefoot. It's called grounding. Just walking around in the dirt or the earth can help you ground. Just going outside for some sunshine can also help. So now back to money as energy. Another way that we can protect our peace when the world feels like it's on fire is voting with your dollars. Every dollar you spend, every coin you invest is a vote for that product, for that company, for the people behind the company whose pockets are being lined by that company. You vote with your dollars. So to avoid getting too political here and talking about like cars, I'm going to talk about food because that's always been really important to me. This is something I've been practicing for many years. Big food companies, they know what they are intentionally getting people hooked on junk food. And they do that through different chemicals, through use of sugar. There's actually a book where they break it down. Most addictive foods have 3 things: salt, sugar, and fat. And the combination of those really gets people hooked. Big food companies also know that they're putting in chemicals that are dangerous for people and for children, unhealthy processed fats that cause inflammation and disease. They specifically do these things and they know it. Therefore, I don't want to vote with my dollars for big food. And every time I go to the grocery store, I get to vote. And that is powerful. That's how we take our power back. So right now online, I'm seeing a lot of good things actually of people wanting to pause their spending or just be more discerning when it comes to their spending. I think that's fabulous, right? We don't need more junk. Stop buying so much junk, right? We don't need it. It winds up filling our landfills and again, contributing to a planet that's just going to be uninhabitable one day. Catastrophizing. Okay, I caught myself. See that? And one note on that, on clothing and stuff, one of my hot tips is that I love Rent the Runway. So I rent clothes, 5 spots every month from Rent the Runway, and I get to swap them out or keep them or even buy them at a discounted price if I want to keep them over time. To me, it's a great way to stop purchasing things that I'm only going to wear a handful of times and that will eventually wind up in a toxic dump somewhere. So just take a little more time, widen the gap when you're purchasing anything, whether it be food, clothing, cars, etc. And the last tip I really want to talk about today is to address bullying. Okay, there are a lot of bullies in our world. And the sad thing is when we see many of them, it looks like they are successful. Like they've gotten really far in this world, which makes a lot of people want to emulate their behavior. That's a fact. My challenge for you is to really take a step back and to realize that when people use bullying behavior, from the playground to the largest courts and governments of the world, it is truly an act of low vibration and low frequency. People that are bullies need to rob other people of their energy because they don't feel energetically fulfilled. They don't feel at peace with themselves. So, how can we do that? How can we protect our peace? There's the bullies out there in general that we can, again, just not give our energy to. So, if you see them on the TV, you can just turn them off. You can try to not let that trigger get you, because anytime you interact with a bully in a way that's where you're meeting that force with a higher force, then you have to lower your vibrational energy. You have to meet them at a lower vibration. And you don't want to do that, right? You want to be able to stay peaceful and stay powerful. So how do we do that? We stay grounded. But this time I'm talking about staying grounded in kind of your stance, right? Your values, what you believe to be true in this world and for you. So that's really important. And I talk about this in black belt level of the Art of Badassery, both in the book and in my keynotes, because being a true leader, being a black belt in this world is about staying steady and grounded in your stances. Think about the greatest martial arts masters, for example, even Mr. Miyagi. He never let his opponents get under his skin. You always see them in the movies and they're always calm and wise. And it's because they know who they are. They don't give energy to the competition. They don't allow their energy to be stolen or taken from them. And that's, again, something we really have to remember. We have to remember to master our emotions. Otherwise, we're giving in to the bully. We're giving in to that other power that is really trying to rob us of our power. I have this really quick story I'm going to tell you. I haven't talked about this publicly, I don't think, but some of you may have heard it. I was asked to be on a TV show with a real housewife of New York. Let's call her Bethany Frankel. This is a few years ago when she had her own talk show for maybe a season. I was really excited. I had been on a few shows at that point already and was just like ready to teach my self-defense. She has me in front of her live audience. It's being recorded, and she asked me to start telling the story of how I started stilettos in self-defense. So I was telling her how on the street one night in New York, I was grabbed by some creep, and right away she cuts me off and says something. I can't exactly really remember all the words right now, but it was really nasty in her tone and said, "Oh, I'm from New York, and nothing like that has ever happened to me or anyone I know." And so I don't know why she would do this to a guest coming on her show. And I don't even know if it was her intention, but she shook me. Instead of getting triggered and shutting down, I stood firmly in my stance. I took a big deep breath and I stated what I knew to be true. And I said, actually, 1 in 4 women in the United States are victims of some type of sexual assault in their lifetime. And I went on just into kind of my rehearsed facts, the facts I absolutely know, have researched, can prove, can show documentation of where these come from. And I just stayed really steady, even in my physical stance. I didn't sway, I didn't move, I didn't shake or cough. It was just steady and calm, state the facts. So that's been coming up for me lately as I'm talking more about just bullies and talking about dealing with other people's negative energy and setting boundaries, right? There's a whole other episode, obviously, about setting boundaries as well. But for now, I just want you to remember, stay grounded, take a big deep breath, repeat what you know to be true, even if it's just your values. Hey, I truly believe in X, or I stand with fill in the blank, whether it be people or a cause or something that you believe in. If that is what you absolutely know to be true, stay steady and grounded even when people try to knock you off balance. All right, my friends, that's it for now. I hope you have some good takeaways. Let me know if any of this helps, if you try on any of those. And of course, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, because in there you will find out about all of the group coaching that I do, the one-to-one coaching that I do, and where in the world I'll be teaching the Art of Badassery next. Next, just if you haven't heard yet, will be in Italy, in a town called Lucca. I'll be doing the next Art of Badassery retreat there from April 28th to May 4th. Reach out to me if you're interested in details. And until then, my friends, thank you so much. And I really do appreciate and love you. So please subscribe and leave us a rating and a review. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.